Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to have some Division 12 online ranked gameplay to begin with, and we're going to be using the new heavyweight king, the real #1 pound for pound fighter, and that is none other than Jon Bones Jones, the absolute animal. And I don't think there's much debate in terms of just greatest fighter of all time in the UFC. There's no debate in my eyes. I know the steroids and all the other stuff that he had going on hinders it to a lot of people, but the era he was fighting in, the champions he beat, the list of names he has on his accolade is simply phenomenal. And then moving up to heavyweight and making deal with probably the greatest and most fluid heavyweight striker we've seen in Cyril Gane in one round is nothing short of phenomenal. Now, obviously, he's going to be fighting Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight belt. I think it's at Madison Square Garden, and Stipe hasn't fought in 2 years, coming off that loss to Ngannou. And no disrespect to Stipe in any sorts of light, but what is Stipe going to do to Jon Jones? I would like people to let me know in the comments below if they feel that Stipe is going to even pose much of a threat to Jon, because looking at his matchups, I wouldn't even say Stipe is the hardest one. Cyril, it was a much harder matchup for Jon Jones, in my opinion, especially when you factor age into it and how fluid Cyril looks on his feet. Of course, Miocic is going to have better wrestling. That's common sense. But I do think if Jon wraps himself around him, I think it is pretty much going to be game over. I think he's going to take him down and do what he wants, do as he pleases. I think if one of the most controversial opinions I have, and a lot of people in my friendship group don't agree with me, but I do think DC is the better fighter between DC and Stipe. I just feel like he just had horrible game planning coming into ending that trilogy. But nevertheless, you got to respect the current heavyweight GOAT, which is Stipe, for everything he's done. But that being said, I don't think he's on the same realm or level as Jon Jones. And here you can see that we're coming up against a Tom Aspinall, and Tom Aspinall is one of my favourite heavyweights to use on the game. He's got fantastic stand-up, and his jiu-jitsu is really slept upon. He's got a lot of great submissions, which makes this a bit of a harder matchup to be honest with you, because on the feet, obviously, when it comes to striking, I'd say I have a bit of advantage, but the boxing and with how fast Aspinall is definitely poses some problems. But you can see that when this fight has gotten to the ground, I've done a very good job of controlling and mitigating damage I'm taking. Secured positions very well, and been overall very patient. And when I like to use Jon Jones, I really like to implement the style where I am grapple heavy, but if I do need to strike, I will strike, and you will see that in the next fight. And it's probably good for you guys to see some gameplay where there isn't a bunch of knee elbow spammers or the Osagari trip spammers with Jon Jones. So it's something that is very hard to find in the light heavyweight and heavyweight division, is someone that uses Jon Jones and just uses him quote unquote correctly in a realistic manner. But it's cool. It's also been cool to see that Jon Jones and Israel Adesanya have linked up recently, and seem to bury that hatchet, that feud they had against them, because that fight at light heavyweight would have been absolutely massive. And do I think Izzy stands a chance? Probably not, especially after we saw what Yan done to him, although Izzy didn't really bulk up for that fight. But it's always good when two of the all-time greats link up together, and you can see that Izzy, at the end of the day, he is a fan, and it's cool to see them linking up, and it will be cool to see them training together as well. See how Jon Jones could potentially help elevate Izzy's grappling. That would be very cool to see. But right now, you see on the feet that Aspinall definitely feels very quick, and is landing at times. You can see I'm using the oblique kick, and when I'm in southpaw, I'm really going to try to throw a lot of teeps, obliques, and mix it up. I'm going to be very kick heavy when I'm in the southpaw stance, and when I'm in the orthodox, I'm going to keep it a little bit more simple, and still utilise the teeps, because when using Jon Jones, that's the best thing to do. And you can see he goes for the big knee there. We circle away, get him against the fence, one knee, because Jon Jones's knees are absolutely deadly, as I'm sure majority of you guys are aware from facing knee elbow spammers. Jon Jones's knees to the midsection absolutely rip away your body health and stamina, and it is something that should definitely be utilised. You know, you got to try. There's a fine line between utilising something and being cheesy with something. So whenever I use John, when I can throw a knee, I will. When I'm in that clinch position, but again, like I said, there's a fine line. You've got to be very, very careful. But it's quite evident that there is a skill difference on the ground in terms of how easy I'm controlling Aspinall here. I'm really making advantages of all the situations that are being presented to myself, doing a good job with denials, and again, just overall controlling the flow of the match and the fight. Sorry, and this is one thing you've got to do with John. John is just he's an absolute freak. He's good everywhere, but the main aspect I like to do is I like to, you know, hit people on the feet. I like to wear away at the body in particular, poke at the legs, and just poke and pry behind the teeps and the long range strikes. And then where possible, as soon as that opportunity to go to the ground presents itself, I will take the fight to the ground. I'll utilise those deadly elbows and just keep softening them up slowly and slowly, wearing away. And because John's got such great submissions as well, I'll often partner the ground and pound with submission attempts just to keep my opponent guessing, and then once that stamina's whittled away, those submission attempts are going to be easier and easier. And something that I've been saying recently in some of my videos is that I'm actually starting to use ground and pound a lot more. It's something that, don't get me wrong, ground and pound's always a viable approach, but just because of how easy it is to get up for the person that's on the bottom defending the ground and pound, it's not something that I've primarily look to use a lot when I am fighting. However, that is something that I'm now adding to my game. Is mixing up the ground and pound strikes, trying not to be as predictable, and I'm finding a lot of success with it. I'm finishing fights a lot quicker than I would have normally, and again, that tearing away at the head health or body health once we get to the feet really does help as well. I still do prefer submissions, don't get me wrong. I will still be looking to submit people rather than just ground and pound finish them. And you can see here just beautiful finish here. Well, he rage quits, but it was the beginning of the end for that fight. And now we're in a Division 20 fight against Stipe Miocic, Division 17 Stipe. And Stipe in this game is actually a really, really viable option. I don't feel like he's used nowhere near enough as he could be. But he's a very viable option. He's a very basic striker. To keep it very basic, very boxing orientated with Stipe. You can throw the kicks here and there, but obviously he's not going to have the kicking arsenal of someone like John Jones or Cyril Gane, even Alistair Overeem. So you've got to bear that in mind. But a very good option. Got a good takedown defense, good enough for you to take someone down, good enough to get up if he's on his back, and the boxing is very, very clean. So in terms of matchups, I think this is a more favourable matchup than some of the other fighters in the heavyweight division for myself. And you can see that I'm just staying at bay right now. I'm not going to force any takedown attempts because I do actually have the advantage on the feet here. And that was a very good head kick. It was a very weird wind up there, but I think that gets me once or twice this fight, to be honest with you. But there's no point overextending myself. I've got the reach advantage. I can keep it on the feet. I've got a bigger arsenal to use on the feet. And like I said, with Stipe's level of strike, and although it is obviously really, really good, and you can see that head kick's catching me a lot, I don't need to rush to get this fight onto the ground. You can see I'm throwing the obliques. I'm picking away at the legs, and I'm just trying to make reads, see what strikes that Stipe does like to throw, switching stances to provide different looks. And right now, head kicks aside, it's quite evident to see that Stipe is struggling to break that distance barrier. You can see side just moving away there from that leg kick, not even having to check it. Throw the obliques just to get a gauge of distance, and Stipe is really pressuring right now just to break that distance, because obviously he's not in a good spot here. But when you can see when he is pressuring, retaliating back, throwing a knee, throwing the uppercuts to the body, and being patient. But when he steps into that range where I can throw knees, I'm gonna throw them and just look to slowly zap that body health away. But distance management right now is very, very good. You see that switch kick lands, but we do eat an uppercut for our troubles. But doing a good job of overall protecting our block, keeping our block to a good level, evading a lot of the strikes and being really, really patient, jabbing away. Stipe's at this point, I believe, getting a little bit frustrated, throwing leg kicks and throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations there just to break that distance barrier. But again, I'm going to remain really, really calm, look to pick away slowly and steadily, because there's no point rushing, like I said. Stipe is having success in some of these exchanges, but I feel like this is going to dictate the pace and dictate the fight and set a very good pace, a very calm, very measured approach. You see the takedown attempt there that wasn't successful, but a very good check to that leg kick there. But the switching at the start seems to be causing an issue as well, with timing for Stipe, and also getting a gauge and getting a read of things. But right now, I'd say that was a very strong start to the round, very confident start, and I'm more than content to keep this fight on the feet for the time being. I don't feel like I need to mix in the ground game. You can see coming into round 2, stamina is at a very, very good level. Health stats also a very good level, and in a very good position to just keep chipping away and see what we can do. So front kick lands there for Stipe, which is good. He's having success going to the head with head kicks and that front kick there, which is something that I was trying to take note of. And again, I'm just being really, really patient. Distance management has been a huge plus here, and when I've stepped into that range, you can see instantly threw a knee and then went to the body straight after. He's trying to double up on those head kicks, see if he can get me out of there. He clinches here, do a good job of blocking the first knee, but then the next two get through to the head. So I clinch back, go to the body, and you can see went for a takedown there, but I actually pulled away. And he's starting to wing those overhands now. That switch kicks land in a very good timing. Switch stance here, and I go straight to the body, and you can see he's swaying now because he's expecting the teep kicks, and he's trying to sway and then obviously throw a hook to do a lot of damage. Lands the head kick, and then I go to the body, and then bang again to the body. So the body work, it's only round 2, and the body work is paying dividends, doing a very good job of whittling away Stipe's body health. And this is something that I also like to use when I'm fighting someone like DC, because DC's body's where you can really target him, and that's exactly what I do. And I've switched to the switch kick to stop Stipe swaying left or right, because that was an adjustment that Stipe was starting to make to try counter the teep kick. So when you mix all these kicks in together, so when you mix the switch kick, the teep kicks, the oblique kicks, the regular roundhouses to the body, it makes it very, very hard for your opponent to really think about what's coming and use the appropriate maneuvers to get away from them, especially when a lot of people like to sway, and that swaying is going to put you in a lot of danger. If you sway into a teep kick, or sway into a switch kick, sorry, it does a lot of damage, especially when your body health's low as it is. But you can see that head kick's caught me again there, and it's not the first time it has. You can see I like partnering up that leg kick and then switching to a teep, because the leg kick stops him in his track. Good question mark kick there, then roundhouse straight to the body, and we get the knockdown here. So you see that I don't even bother jumping on top. Stipe just gets back to his feet, and yeah, goes for the head kick, because right now it seems like Stipe is in need of a Hail Mary strike to level up this fight, or can switch and look to start grappling. But that's never the greatest thing to do with John, because even off his back, he'll be extremely dangerous, and the reversals were there. So sneaking an elbow just because the range is in. Teep kick to push him back, switch stance. Look, I'm just controlling the centre of the octagon here. Stipe's taken a lot of damage, and undoubtedly this round is mine. And I'm expecting him to press here and really try look to push the pace, and then we land a huge lead body roundhouse there. So another very, very good round. They're coming into this third round, I believe. Is it the third? Yes, so coming into the third round, I know Stipe's body health is completely done, and look at my stamina once again and health stats. This is exactly where you want to be, and this is just showcasing to you guys that you don't just need to strike, don't just need to grapple with John. You can strike without making it cheesy. You can have a very measured approach and find success, and this gameplay I feel like does a good job of utilising John Jones' strengths without being in a cheesy manner. I'm still utilising the knees, still throwing an elbow here and there, still picking away at the body and using oblique kicks, and just trying to keep a very, very measured approach. And obviously you can mix in the spinning elbows when they're in close, which you'll have a lot of success in, no doubt. The Osagari trip is always still available if need be, but I didn't need to utilise it in this fight. And you can see Stipe's throwing these teeps now as well, probably tired and of seeing teeps come his way. And when we're in that distance there, I know he's trying to clinch. I'll throw that elbow just to break through that guard. And still being very, very patient, even when he's controlling the centre of the octagon. I'm more than happy to be against the cage, because I can still pick him apart. And now that we're in boxing range, you can see starting to go for the switch kicks a lot, so he's blocking his body, doing the right thing there, throwing the elbow in from up close just to keep him guessing. Throw the teep, does a good job in blocking and spins into his own elbow. And pressuring a lot more, and this is exactly what Stipe needs to do this round. Good oblique kick there, stops him right in his tracks, and he's got a pressure, because right now on the, I'm probably up 2 rounds, and damage wise there's a very big difference between myself and Stipe at this point here. I'm trying to catch him with the uppercut when he's going to the body. Good check there, and you see when I put my arm out there just to create some distance, and he rips to the body, so I rip back. You can see 2 body uppercuts there in the space of about 5 seconds. Spinning kick to the body, oblique there straight to his leg, and just mixing it up, flowing very well. The teep gets him down here. Let him stand. I did think I was gonna initiate the clinch and throw a couple knees and push him against the fence, but that didn't happen. Southpaw switching straight back to orthodox, and the switching of stances really creates a lot of people issues online. And if you have someone like John, or let's say someone like Israel Volkanovski, someone like that who's, when they switch stance, is pretty effortless, is definitely something that you guys should be looking to do, because that switching of stance really throws people off. And if you're good in both stances as well, it's a massive advantage. And you can see the fight winds up on the ground here after I get the knockdown. And from this position, there's only 30 seconds left. I don't mind throwing some strikes. Got a bit overzealous there and gave him the get up option. He's looking to clinch straight away. You can tell by the posture that the stamina is just not there. And look, big space, switch kick into his liver, and Stipe's eating the canvas. So I really appreciate you guys for all the support as of recently. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more UFC 4 content. Any content suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I'm working on a Chuck Liddell video for you guys right now. So just want to say a huge thank you to you all, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.